In 1 Timothy 2:11 and 12, the Apostle Paul uses another word when he says the women should learn in silence. Again, by the way, the women there is not women in general. It is speaking of wives. It is speaking of the wife, and the word being used is not this word, but phonetically it looks like this. Hesutia. So now, if you are dogmatic about women, even not having the glossolalia freedom, which I don't believe we can stop the Holy Spirit in the middle of something and say, now hold on, but you're going to have a problem, because if we're going to interpolate that this word segato means hush, shut up, keep quiet, or however you're going to put an emphasis on it, then you're going to have to deal with this word, which is different from this word. So basically it says that the Apostle Paul either in one place was telling women to hush, or in the other place he was telling them to hush, but they're two different words. And if he was trying to say the same thing through and through, he'd use the same word. Are you following me? Yes. So there's a problem with that theory. In other words, my point is you must compare. So I use the example of 1 Timothy, speaking of how it says a woman should learn in silence. That is stillness, desistance from bustle. Can mean language. There's also a male version to that, which is to keep one's seat. But essentially, the gist of it is to refrain from labor in 1 Timothy 2:11 and 12. Now, please, don't drift off into some other planet and say, well, are you forgetting the historical and social setting? Absolutely not. But I'm going to come to the surface with the biblical principle. The biblical principle being conveyed here is that the wives were usurping the husbands. And in some cases, in Corinth, they were downright embarrassing the husbands in the middle of worship by spouting out in tongues. He says, let your wives keep quiet in the church, hush. And I'm sorry, you can't say, well, here it's forever quiet, and there it's going to be forever quiet. No, let your women hush. Now, this is not the interpretation according to me. This is hours of spending sitting in front of the Bible, the Greek, dissecting and looking and trying to make sense of what this all means.